Hi everyone, my name is Devika and I am a deputy editor with Jagun New Media. I'm also an Adira AI trainer. I am a YASHODA AI mentor and I have been doing research into AI and journalism. Specifically, the focus is on AI literacy and how the human workforce can be brought into this aspect, not just tools and technologies, but other aspects as well. So I would want to initiate this conversation by simply saying that I'm a woman, but what makes me a woman? The resilience, the tenderness, the power to build relationships and communities. But what stops me? If that I have analyzed that thought in the last 1 or 2 months, and what stops me? It's the idea to voice my opinions, lay out my ideas, discuss the thoughts and concepts with those who understand me, maybe the women around me, discuss it with them, and to understand how these technologies are shifting the gender gap, the disparity that we are seeing, the inclusiveness, other than the biasness, hallucinations, and other concepts that are already creeping into the business systems and mechanisms of our way of work. So we all women who are joined together today for a very soft discussion. This is the icebreaker session, breaking the ceiling. We are talking about how AI as a technology, and obviously we're talking about generative AI and agentic frameworks and other deepfakes and other things that are feeding into our mechanisms, how they are changing the landscape and what can we as women from different areas, different sectors do to build that sustainability, to work around that, those models that are already expanding and how it is impacting different generations. So we are at the core of our different sectors. So I'll just name you all and then I would look forward to your introductions. But before that, I would like to introduce Parul Madan, who is sitting just next to me. This lady, if you can see online. So she's Parul Madan, she's leading YASHODA AI, and I'll hand over to Parul to start this whole conversation.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. It's actually a pleasure to host all of you here today. I am Parul Madan. I'm currently leading YASHODA AI, and we're all working here at Futureship Labs, which is a think tank. The main idea behind Futureship Labs is to have technology but with inclusion, and that is the way how we're driving our work. So our trajectory has been different verticals of research that we're working on right now, ranging from how climatic changes can, impact the future thali of our, we in fact have Alicia who's leading our research on this. So there are multiple research verticals that we have on maybe the geopolitical tensions that are, aggravating because of artificial intelligence, disinformation, misinformation. So we have a wonderful team of women leading various verticals of research. And we also have YASHODA AI, which is a campaign that we're running with the National Commission for Women, where Futureship Labs is the implementation partner. And our main idea is to provide basic artificial intelligence literacy and cyber safety tips. Not tips, actually, that's a very small word, but just to make them cyber safe in this AI digital era. Because unfortunately, women are the main targets of cyber crimes that we talk about. And more importantly, if we talk about data, algorithms, everything, the voices of women is something that's not reaching. So the data and all of the algorithms that are built on it, everything that is being made on the foundational data that has to include the voices of women. And that is something that we're trying to work on. And thankfully, we've targeted almost 6,000 women across different target audiences from ranging from police officials, SHG women, mostly students, college students, and young professionals. So now we're hoping to take this step further and to understand more issues, because right now we also have some experience of field work and we've seen a lot of issues that probably it's very important that all important stakeholders come together and recognize that, and then maybe take it towards a policy driven output, maybe, because that is for me personally, I feel that it's always the systemic change that makes a difference. So yeah, it's great to have you all on board. Thank you for joining us today, and I will request Devika to set the tone, and then maybe we can all have the proper conversations around why we're here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Parul. With Parul, I'll just do a quick brief of intro, and then I would look forward to you introducing your work and the your sectors that you're part of, how you are managing your work as a woman, and where AI comes into practice in your sectors. So we have Parul Goswami with us. She is she's from Data Leads and she's leading the Adira initiative, that is AI for digital readiness and advancement. Then we have Pamposh Rana on the screen. She is the head of deepfake analysis unit. Uh, the third screen that we see at the end, she's Dr. Kulveen Trehan. She is an academician and she's building AI frameworks and curriculums, and she's with the IT University. Rishiti Ghosh is leading high tech. She is GM and into business development and bringing in tech projects for the company that she's working for. Deepika Dhawan is into advertising and PR, and she's into influencer marketing and the approaches of communication, of dealing, working around influencers. And then we have few of our guests here present in the office. So from my extreme left, that will be your, if you see it will be the right, but from my extreme left, it's Swati Mudgal. She's the pink coat. It's okay, it's okay. I'll do it. So Swati Mudgal, she is a CHRO and she's working with different companies. She's working on startups and how AI technologies are evolving in those startups. She will be talking about that. Deepti Bhatia is into legal, data, AI, privacy expert. She's an expert there and she gives trainings about that and the new amendments that are coming in the Act, and also working around synthetic media and the regulations that are happening around that. And then we have Khushbu Oja. She is Khushbu Oja, yeah, I'm pronouncing right. Yeah, absolutely. So she's into edtech. So I'll just hand over to the women here, and then we can come to the women who are present online. So Khushbu, please. Yeah.
So I would also like to add on, yes, I'm in edtech. I've been in different industries, media, publishing, edtech, and AI has, yes, started showing its efficiency, its presence, its usability in past 5 years. And I am into marketing at our organization level and at many other levels, in fact. We do talk about AI. I don't think any conversation is happening anywhere right now which is not mentioning AI. And there's a conscious decision of utilizing it and making our work more efficient, us more efficient, productive. But it's very imperative that we also talk about the side which needs to be taken care of. And it's not only, I would not say being a woman, we should be taking care of it, but I think everyone is responsible for that. But yes, I would still say that women, I would say that we are more empathetic, we understand from emotion, like I would say we are better at EQ maybe. And so we understand what is the other side of when we go deep into utilizing AI and in the places, how we are utilizing it. So when it comes to improvising your product, improvising what you're offering to the audience, improvising how you are working and how you're not if you're not paying attention to nitties and gritties or how we can actually improvise on what we are already doing, how to safeguard everything. And also we just had an offline conversation about our kids and how they are now using AI, how to safeguard them. All of that is a responsibility, ethical, moral, and how we can make sure that we do take part in those conversations. And I'm glad that YASHODA AI is taking that initiative. And of course, we're here today on this platform to talk about that.
Thank you, Khushbu. So, Deepti, can you tell about your work and the challenges and obstacles that you're facing there?
Yeah, hi everybody, good afternoon. Thank you for having me here today. So, I started my career with bank. So, I'm a banker essentially turned into a professional now. I'm a currently senior partner with AM Legals in leading their data privacy practice. For the past 5-6 years, I've been involved specifically into the talks of privacy and now leading the implementation. Being a banker, privacy has always been part of my conversations within the bank and with my clients and understanding different setups. But I think you all agree that privacy is something doesn't really come naturally to Indians. We are very open people, we like to share everything. And this is something that we have to start learning now because with digital media now, everything has changed. So we've been talking about cybersecurity and how we need to be cautious about accessing cyber world. But I would say it's not just the cyber, it's more of we are all digital citizens now. It's our digital footsteps that we need to take care of, either from the app side or on the internet, on the social media. Even any if we are having shopping through the apps, there is also we are giving our digital footprints. How we have to be aware of what we are doing and where the information what we are sharing. So we've had offline conversations around how it is affecting our daily lives and how kids are affecting and how we need to be cautious. And people like us are still in minority who are aware of this whole cautious approach that we need to take care of our footsteps in the digital world. So where people talk about being AI usage and cyber security decisions, I bring in conversations now with regards to privacy. What we have to share, where we have to share, we have to be very aware of, because the use of AI technology has changed drastically how we used to look at social media. A lot of us have started deleting our Facebooks probably, or cutting our time from that media because of the deepfakes that are coming in, the kind of frauds women are getting, vehicles profile. So, besides this, I'm also a passionate photographer. I'm a part of a community worldwide where women are actively using it as their profession. First, it might be a hobby for me or a passion for me, but for a lot of women, this is like a business bread and butter, and obviously the passion. So the AI using a double-edged sword right now on social media. They have to have their presence online to get business with photography. But because of the deep fakes which are impacting, it is becoming difficult for people to sustain. A photograph which used to be a proof in a courtroom that this has happened is now a questionable evidence. Is it true or not?
Yeah.
So we need to start having conversations on that now. And I'm happy that I'm part of this circle today. Women from all over the industry are being on this conversation. I'm happy to contribute and learn today. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepti. Thank you. Swati, from your sector, what are your challenges and how are you advancing? I really have to. How are you advancing in your segment? What are you trying to do there?
So thank you first of all for having me here. Amazing conversations and amazing insights. Great to learn, I think, and it would be a peaceful and a great conversation for all of us. So quick round of introduction to me. My name is Swati Mukul. I am managing partner for a firm called Swast Business Advisors. I play a dual role of an HR and business strategy advisor to many of the small and mid-sized organizations which are doing very well in our country. I also serve as CHR for an IT organization based out of Delhi NCR. Yeah, so I've been talking about this AI because interesting enough, we all are kind of participating with AI in these days. And typically for a person like me who's sitting into HR, we are probably sitting at an intersection of, people, strategy, and technology everywhere. And so I think it's very good that we're talking about AI because it's not really a futuristic word. It's right here knocking on our door and absolutely on our headlines, right? So everybody has to be prepared for this. And I'm very excited for this conversation because people are not from a single industry. We are getting an influence from each and every industry. In my part of the work, it is a reality today. I mean, it is people are judged if they are aware of AI or not. People are kind of rejected if they don't know AI. So it is absolutely, it has both sides. So I will go for the introduction by the other members also. And then after that, let's kind of discuss about what is so good, bad, or ugly into this whole science and mechanism because it's yet to be explored in all senses. For us, I mean, be it hiring, be it appraisal management, be it the workplace management, or even the scheduling and planning, we are using AI for everything, right? So let's understand where it goes, and then I will just pass it on to the other members of the group. Let's hear from, and then be more excited about the conversation.
Srimanath on this.
Thank you, Swati. So next I will come to Dr. Gurmeet Rehan. Rehan has been an academician for such a long time, and last year she got a project where she was working around AI literacy frameworks. So, Dr. Rehan, from your perspective, how are you seeing things in academia, media institutes, the students who are right now developing? What are you seeing there?
Uh, to begin with, my compliments to Yashoda AI for having this consultation. These are very important consultations, and I'm so happy to see all my young friends contributing in different ways and their experiences, sharing their experiences, their journeys with AI, their skepticism with AI, issues, uh, and various aspects of their work in terms of how they're living with AI in the world, which is full of communication, technology, and society. And that is the intersection from where I come. With 22 years behind me in teaching, training, and research, my areas of interest and work surround advertising and branding. That is who I was when I began my career. Later graduated to academics, where I started off with advertising literacies, to then digital media literacies, then AI literacies, and of late social media literacies and digital cultures as well. So these are the areas of interdisciplinary areas of communication and media scholarship that I've been engaging in the last 22 years. Yes, the world has changed. We have to live with it. We can cry, we can be skeptical as teachers, we can say whatever we like, but at the end of the day, the elephant is in the room and we have to make do with it. And that is why this conversation about the relationship, the ever evolving relationship between technology, society, and communication needs to be reconfigured, revisited, recapped all the time to come up with frameworks. The opening speaker talked about how, at the end of the day, can we create some deliverables for policymakers? Can we provoke them to think? Can we provoke them to rethink? And using a gender lens, for example, can all of that happen? Yes, of course, but we need to then understand our newer roles in this digital transformation as a teacher, as a trainer, and more importantly, as a researcher. What has happened with AI is the minute you open your computer, let's say these days I'm working to analyze the results of the baseline survey I did on digital media literacies of adolescents. I'm a project director of Government of India for a digital media literacy project of adolescents, that is students in the age group of 13 to 19 in government aided and private schools in Delhi. So while mapping those students from 21 schools, uh, one of the major things that comes to my mind is that this is the time to co-learn. That gone are the days when I'm the instructor, that I go to the classroom, I have some source, I have an agenda to teach, and I have my own space of, how I go about as a teacher. No, they have their own information sources. They have their own ways of procuring information, obtaining or seeking or gratifying their information needs. And much of it is coming from AI, right? We can all talk about how chat GPT has become their best friend, the inseparable part of their lives. But many other tools all the time also pop up on their screen, tempting them that, do you want to finish your assignment in 5 seconds? All it takes is 5 seconds with Thesis AI, and a dissertation of about 40 odd pages is ready. Now, this is very, very tempting. And that is how my world has become very challenging as a researcher, as a teacher, as a trainer. Within that space, when I look at it, while some of you have already flagged issues of ethics, some of you have already flagged issues of privacy, issues of structural inequalities or digital inequalities per se. But my bigger concern at the moment is how many a times AI might contribute to exasperating the digital gender divide, which already exists. My research, which has been three-pillar research, that is the actor networks, I've been interviewing AI professionals from across the country. 45 of them have responded to the key informant interviews. On the other hand, I've conducted participatory training workshops for capacity building of these students, about 500 odd students enrolled for the program, besides the 4,000 students who were surveyed to understand, to map what were their digital media skills and competencies at the moment. So within that space, when I look at it, what I see is Yes, of course, there is this, huge, almost nonchalant love for AI amongst the young. But on the other hand, it is also a time to collaborate with the young adults and find our own spaces to understand where can AI play a constructive role, where AI can come together for monitoring, for analytics, where we can situate AI in their lives, right? That's very, very important. And they're ready to learn, they're willing to work with us. The only thing is that we cannot control them. We cannot, after beyond a point, we cannot convert, parental or teacher oversight into control. If you try to look at the idea of oversight, human oversight, and the relationship between human beings and AI in a more balanced way, in a lesser skewed and lesser disparate manner, I think we can coexist, we can live together, provided we as trainers, it's very, very important that we are trained to understand not just the utility. There is a utilitarian value. There's a functional role of AI, what it can do for me. How can I use a notebook LM? How can I use a pinpoint? That's a very utilitarian aspect of it, which we all do and engage every day. I use a Claude AI to do this. All of us, Wixley for analyzing my data all the time. However, more than that, can we provoke the young people to critically engage with questions of why a particular AI anchor, a sports anchor, which was virtual influencer, why was she lily white in color when none of us, at the moment in this room are white? We are women of color. So why women of color are invisible, are absent, are missing in the way we train our AI models? All these large language models of text need to have, we have to make a conscious effort to contribute the data to ensure that those researches which have been carried out for diversity, for inclusion, to ensure that social inequalities are addressed, that is also fed into the AI model while we are training. Who's training the model is a critical question. How is that model being trained is another critical question. Are we, these women, is any one of us part of those teams in IIT Kharagpur's where these models are trained? It is very important that social scientists, psychologists, behavioral analysts, sociologists, philosophy experts, they are part of integration and training or creation of agentic AI models when the models are being, created at the first place. And then further training. What is the next level of data, next tier of data on which these models are then surfaced at? Very, very important. And then these critical conversations people like me need to take to the classrooms. When I teach them that this ad has been made, you made an advertisement with an AI. Now, how is this tool? Let's use a gender lens. How is this particular tool hampering or creating voice agency, velocity? You've raised all these issues of voice, veracity, agency, velocity, vulnerabilities of women, right? So, whether those issues of women in intersectionality with race, with color, with caste, with community, with social class, with economic inequalities. Have that been taken into configuration while training those models? Make them realize. Let people respond to these critical questions. Let's not be scared. Let's not become too euphoric. And on the other hand, let's ensure that we keep on raising our voice and our questions at the same time.
Thank you, Gurvi. Thank you so much. Compost, coming to you. Deepfakes, misinformation. मतलब ये words भी लोगों को समझ में नहीं आते हैं. वो आज के दिन पे when we go to trainings, we have seen that we have media and newsrooms. Yes, they might understand, but a common man does not understand that. So how are you and your organization are trying to make people aware? And how do you see the role of evolving AI and the women who are working around it, including you, like you working around it? How do you see it happening? And what are the challenges that you see there?
Thanks, Devika. I'd like to begin by congratulating Kulveen on raising some very important and pertinent points to set the tone for the conversation today, because she touched upon so many issues which are pertinent to AI per se. And very quickly, my work lies at the intersection of AI and misinformation. I have been a journalist for a very long time. And by virtue of my work, I also contribute to conversations in the responsible AI space. So, as you rightly point out, the word misinformation, disinformation, these are words which are very broad based. And when you add a layer of AI to all of this, it is just everything is on steroids, for the lack of another word. So, the lines between synthetic and authentic are blurring each passing day, and we see that in our work every day. And the work that I lead, is primarily powered by what's called a tip line. So I'll just very quickly talk about the model that we are working with, and the reason why something like that can be helpful in understanding what are some of the trends around misinformation that we see with AI. So we have a tip line number whereby we encourage members of the public to share a piece of audio or video that they suspect might have been generated or manipulated using AI. Essentially, the focus here is to try and get a sense of what harmful or misleading content in these formats is floating around. And we cater to specific languages, cater to 7 languages: English, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, and we essentially are trying to get a sense of what formats are more popular or what formats are widely used, and what is the different contexts that we see. What is the sub-regional context, for instance? Is this tied to news events per se? Is this tied to election cycles per se? It's often very difficult to put your finger on something and say that, oh, we think that this piece of misinformation is coming from bad actor X as opposed to bad actor Y. That's always a challenge. So getting to the root of it is super, super challenging. So I think the way this issue can be addressed, the way this issue can be focused upon, is by a certain level of inoculation, by making people understand that there is a way in which you can be more aware. So my work, since you specifically asked me about it, there's a lot of focus in terms of information literacy and AI literacy. So when we analyze any piece of content that is shared with us, either through our tip line or fact-checking partners like yourselves, Devika, your team escalates content to us, or we have fact checkers outside of India who are escalating content to us all the time. So we do a very thorough analysis. I think it's very important to underscore here is that when we look at a piece of content today, sometimes a trained eye can look at it and say that there seems to be something off with it, but not everybody has that trained eye. So we do manual analysis, we do analysis using AI detection tools, and we also have experts who weigh in on a piece of content that we might be analyzing, and then we produce detailed assessment reports. And baked in those assessment reports is a layer of AI and media literacy. And we also regularly and religiously on social media try to engage with people to through quizzes, through exercises, to help them understand that what they can do, and share tips to sort of make them understand what they can do if they spot a piece of content that might be AI manipulated or AI generated. So I think it's a very focused and ongoing activity that needs to be taken up, because it's an uphill task. With the proliferation of AI, there are only going to be more tools. The question is also about the guardrails. The question is also how AI is being weaponized. We are all celebrating that there is AI around us, and it's great. But I think people need to understand and people need to be sensitized about the misuses of AI. And that's where I think conversations like these are important, whether we are talking to kids in schools, whether we are talking to, even grown-ups. I mean, the conversations that I'm having with a lot of people around me, and these are people who dabble in the AI space, often their experiences have been that AI is being constantly used as a companion for conversations. And some of those, sometimes I was talking to somebody who's doing research around this for Microsoft the other day, and they told me that it's getting to a point where their research reveals that the exchange that people, especially young kids, are having with AI is something that they would never tell anybody else. So AI is also filling into that void, perhaps. AI is also filling into that gap where people are not having conversations with others anymore. And, it sort of points to some of the larger systemic issues that we have about not creating safe space for people to talk about their problems, whether it's in schools, whether it's in colleges, whether it's even at workplaces. And has AI taken up that space now? Has AI, all your LLMs, are they now being used because people are socializing less? So I don't want to veer towards a totally different direction, but since we are talking about, some of the dangers or some of the ways in which bad actors are weaponizing AI, I think these are some of the broader issues that we need to focus on. And as a woman, I think the other aspect that is pertinent to this conversation is women being targeted through deepfakes. A lot of non-consensual sexual imagery being floating around, and takedowns are hard. It's a different ball game altogether when you talk about taking down such content from social media. We've had cases from different parts of the globe where girls are being bullied. Their AI generated or AI manipulated images are being used to tarnish their image, whether it's bullying in school or college. So there are all sorts of issues that we need to talk about. And I think the important part is that as women, when you talk about certain data biases, the representation factor, I think it's important to look at the aspects of ethics and transparency in this space. Like, the speaker before me talked about who is training, what is the training data all about? Do we know that? What does it represent? How many, small example, how many voice samples of, say, women do we find in the training data that is being used? Or how much of that training data represents women, say, from the global south? So all of those are questions that we need to ask ourselves. And another very important part or important piece of this conversation is collaboration. It's a word that's bandied around a lot, but in spirit, are we really collaborating? Because all of us are working in silos. There's still that gap between the tech space and the humanities space. And I think it's only important to mention here that the fact that the humanities can inform the AI is something that everybody now needs to, I think, have some humility about. And it's not, AI is just not something that is tech driven. And people need to ask these questions when they are using AI. Because as someone working in the verification space, having been a journalist, there's a degree of skepticism that you always operate from. That if I want to check a fact using AI, I'll be very skeptical. We don't, in the fact checking ecosystem, that's not recommended at all. And that's the level of skepticism that I think needs to be there for all of us using AI. That why should I believe every piece of information or content that AI is sharing or AI is, an LLM is giving me? Do I have a sense of, is it explainable AI? Do I have a sense of what steps might have been taken to arrive at that piece of information? So I think it's not a silver bullet. AI can, at most, at the moment when we talk about integration of AI into our workflows, I think we need to understand that what is the problem that we are solving for. Because just saying that, AI, can be just integrated with anything and everything and our lives are becoming simpler, I think that's misjudgment and that's exaggeration. So we just have to take AI with a grain of salt. And I know that might not be a very popular view in this room, and I'm sorry to, be so open about some of this because I come from a space where I've really seen a lot of misuse of AI. And sometimes the speed at which you see a lot of content which is being manipulated, which is being generated, which is harmful, which is misleading, will make inroads into our WhatsApps faster than what can be used to dispel that sort of bad piece of information or half-baked or absolutely incorrect piece of information, because it requires human effort to debunk something. You can't rely on tools 100%. Anybody who's telling you that AI detection tools can solve for everything, I'm sorry, but they are lying, because tools can only give you probability scores. Tools can only give you a sense of some markers where a piece of content, say an audio or video, might have some elements of AI or might have some synthetic elements, but tools will not be 100% accurate. And any tool maker who's telling you that their tool is 100% accurate, they're lying. Because again, a lot of those tools are trained on data from the global north and not from data from the global south. So those are some of the things that we need to be mindful of when we're trying to use AI and trying to believe that now every solution can and will come from AI. So I think I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Crazy, Mangosh. Thank you so much. And database has been a pioneer in the trainings and media literacy and other collaboration that we talked about. So I wanted to come to you, Parul, but I'll just take a quick minute with Rushdi first, because she needs to drop out of the meeting because she has another training going on. So Rushdi, just quick 2 minutes. I know you have joined the back for just 2 minutes. If you can just let us know in the gist of the whole conversation that we are having today and the work that you are doing and how do you see the challenges and opportunities there. Sorry, Parul, just 2 minutes, please bear with me. Yes, Rushdi. You're on mute, Rushdi.
Hi. Thanks, Devika, for understanding. I was not expecting it to be, working today, but since just this week I've joined this place, so it's a little hectic on my side. But quick introduction about me. I'm Rishti Ghosh. I'm a published author, and I'm a content strategist. I'm a business strategist for various companies. I have about 16 years of work experience, and I was her colleague. This is how we became friends. I was with Jagran New Media. I've also closely worked with Khushbu. She's also a great friend from the education industry. And great that we've come together. Thank you so much, AI, YASHODA AI. What a wonderful initiative. And I'm so sure, this is just the beginning of all the wonderful things that are about to happen and all the collaborations that are going to happen. So about AI, my take is actually very, positive. Coming from a very tech friendly world, I've been in extra marks and Byju's. I've seen technology like the most amazing thing that could happen to humankind. And I always say, let's not be very reactionary towards AI, just like how we've been when industrial revolution started. And so-called jobs were lost, but also jobs were given, lots of trainings were given, just like how computers came in and people thought that the workers will be replaced, but then again reskilling happened, upskilling happened. Same with cordless mobiles, laptops and all that. So let's not be reactionary about AI. I'm right now sitting in a very heavily tech-led room. So I'll just give you a quick look as well. So, and that's exactly what our work is. We work nationally and internationally. We kind of channelize and energize, companies, universities, learning spaces, institutions, and make them very seamless when it comes to teaching or any other global advancement or technologies that are required to bring people together globally or students globally together. That's where I work at. I'm heading their content, their marketing, and their business initiatives. And for me, it's a very open-minded journey. So I understand that when I was in Jagran, we were heading this website. We used to be skeptical that no AI driven tools or a website content should be going because it can get striked off, etc., etc. And coming from there to this again, where we are so technologically high that everything is so seamless and wonderful now. So I was just reading a couple of data points, and in 1 year, from 4% to 17% women are now interested in India to take AI sessions and learnings. I think this is still a very wide space, especially when it comes to women. Um, I know this discussion sort of directs to that side as well, and there's so much that can be done. There's so many ceilings there that can be broken to just cross, and there's so much that can be done here as well. So I think this should be beyond gender, because tier 2, tier 3 is also grappling with this thing. But also then you see influencers who are like a one man army driving everything, especially at the initial stages, and then going on. How many people have seen Hello Bachcho? um, so we get the idea, right? What AI or what these kind of digital technologies do to us, to one person building an entire team or driving one initiative which can get national or global, and to having a multi CR firm. So I think we should be very entrepreneurial when it comes to this. We should be very business minded. We should be very independent, and we should have that craving to learn and absorb like a sponge. That will really accelerate our speed when it comes to not just this, anything and everything. When it comes to women are so good at multitasking, and naturally so at it. We play the roles of mothers and partners and daughters and so much more. So I think this is also just one another side of the coin that we can conquer, and I think we should go for it.
Thank you, Rishati. Very warm words and very promising words. But I know you have to drop down because
Right.
you have another training going on. So thank
Yeah.
you once again for joining us and being
Thank you.
part of this amazing conversation, the amazing women that we and I'm around having around me today. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Kushbu can give you a lot of marketing perspectives. We keep touching base in that sense. So I think marketing is just driving all crazy on AI, man. We cannot survive without it.
Totally, we were just discussing with Swati about it. I'll come back to that. But thank you once again for joining. I know you have to drop off.
Thank you, Devika.
Being
Thank you so
excited
much.
in
Thanks,
very great
everyone.
conversations. And
Sure.
Parul, again, my apologies that I had to stop while Rishni was joining in for 2 minutes. But Parul, once again, I mean, data leads has been a pioneer in this space. We can see trainings, collaborations, networking, and all those things. And now you're leading a leader initiative, which has trained so many people. I mean, I have been part of that network, and I can see how these trainings are effective, how the texts are refined, how different communities are being reached out. I recently, as a media person, I recently trained, did 2 doctors training, and that was such an amazing experience because that, as a woman, it gives me that chance to just move out of my comfort zone, break out those shells that are around me, and learn something new. I mean, dental scaffolds, stem cell surgery, कैसे AI से बेहतर कर सकते हैं, ये पढ़ना मेरे लिए I would never thought in my weirdest imagination that I would do that. And you are part of that amazing process. So please tell, what the conversation is happening and what we're doing. So please talk about yourself and the work that you're doing and how do you see women today in the age of AI and the challenges and opportunities that we are all facing together.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you, Devika. such lovely, amazing thoughts and ideas and learnings that, I've been hearing. It's so fantastic. Honestly, I have nothing much to add here. But yeah, so hello, my name is Parul Goswami. I'm Deputy Director at Data Leads. And Data Leads, we work in this, we're a media tech company based in Delhi, and we've been in this space of information, building information ecosystem, AI, and health for over a decade now. And Adira, so I'm currently leading this project called Adira, which is AI for digital readiness and advancement. And the journey, the program, the idea is simple: is to build an AI ready workforce. And it's a program which is funded by Google Org and Asian Development Bank and AVP in Asia Pacific. It's a long program, so we've been, so far in just under a half a year, we've already trained 50,000 people across India. And it is on the train of the trainer model where 200 trainers, of course, Devika is one of them, uh, they were trained on a particular curriculum which was built under an advisory council which consisted of AI experts from IIT Jodhpur and other universities. We had health experts, Dr. Swaminathan, former scientist from WHO, and from the media sector. So under this program, we are basically providing free of cost AI literacy in the media sector and the healthcare sector. So the journey has been fantastic, but a lot of learnings as well. So first, of course, we've seen that there's a biggest shift. It's not just technological, it's also now a behavioral shift. So from just merely doing those tasks, we've now moved on. We can see it now. The professionals have moved on to a more of a decision-making role. Now it's more on direct supervising role. From basically doing those mundane tasks, now we moved into that shift we've definitely seen in professionals. When I talk about these trainings, when we go and take it to the grassroots levels, it's been it's very interesting journey. It's been a great impact that we see it, especially on the grassroots level. So we did this couple of AI trainings, especially for ASHA workers. So we did one with Zilla Parishad in Nagpur. We did in Uttar Pradesh. And it's been phenomenal how great and very visible impact, a very spontaneous impact you see with those ASHA workers. And that's when you realize that despite all, of course, we've been focusing a lot on using it responsibly, but the immediate impact that we could see, when they understood how little things, हमारे लिए it's very, it'd be like such a small thing, like minutes of the meeting. But for an ASHA worker, when they had this weekly meetings and on, say, Monday and Tuesday in their particular districts, that would take them the whole day. Putting together the minutes, सबसे बात करी, क्या क्या किया पूरे दिन में, क्या discussion था, वो अपने supervisor to give that to their supervisor. It was a day task. But when they got hold of it, okay, we can do this on a chat GPT or on other tools. And they were, I wish I could show you that video. I'll share the link. It's amazing when that Asha worker said, Dekha, मैंने ये डाला और ये आ गया. And she was so happy about it. She's like, now I can, अच्छा मैं अब ये भी कर सकती हूँ, अच्छा अब मैं वो भी कर सकती हूँ. So we were also very surprised to see the immediate impact of the training. So of course, when you move on to say tier one and capitals, then you see the professionals and you'll see the confidence gain, and all of those metrics are different. But when you see that immediate impact at the grassroots for women, and this is where even I'm very keen to push more of this training at grassroots level, because we can see that impact immediately. And also very interesting thing that I noticed was that the questions on how to use it responsibly and ethically are especially coming from women participants in most of our training. So there is this, I would be assuming it to say maybe it's from a gender lens, but it's very interesting how they're very keen to use the technology, but at the same time use it very responsibly. So when we're teaching an ASHA worker, we're providing them this training, we are also making sure that to explain them that this is there to support them. It is not to give them a diagnosis, or it is not taking over an healthcare professional advice. Eventually, they have to go to a doctor to seek advice. And this is, and very interestingly, if they already understand this particular difference, it's amazing how to see that. Also, what I've seen as a barrier, I would say, in on all those trainings is one, and I've seen it in newsrooms, with key senior editors, key even in healthcare sector, very senior in healthcare also, medical institutes, medical educators, senior ones, they are hesitant. There is definitely an hesitancy because everybody assume that when you talk about AI, you got to be an expert. Only a tech expert can do AI. And non-techie people, they're like, they're running away from it. They assume, yeah, हमारे लिए नहीं है, it's not for us. But it's only when they attend the training, and when you give them that training and you tell them, you do that hands-on workshop with them, and explain them how you can do, and then it's amazing. It's like, wow. Even the doctors, the top-notch doctors, have written in their testimonials in their training, like, now I can do this, I can now summarize the research papers, I can do. So you're also assuming कि सबको AI के बारे में पता है. You're all assuming sitting here. They're still very senior, literate. You could say they still don't know about it. And AI is just not chat GPT. That is also we need to explain to them. It's so much more you can do for your mundane task, and it can make your life so much easy. But at the same time, there's so much focus has to be given on AI ethics, AI, and how to use it responsibly, and also how to elevate your everyday life. You give away your mundane task and do so much more with your life than those. So that is something that perception is to be also changed. That AI is for, if we want AI for all, that perception has to be changed. And I think we need, and also there is this invisible influence sort of a thing. We're all using it, but not everyone is admitting it. Sometimes at work, we laugh about it. ये तूने chat GPT से उठाया है ना? But and sometimes people are, they feel being judged about it. But why? It's a technology, and one must use it. As long as, of course, you need to use it responsibly. The creativity part should be there, and all of that is very, but it's there to support you. Why should I not take that support? Why should I be feel, being judged that, okay, I've used it, I'm sorry? No. I mean, that perception is also to be changed. It's a technology. Use it. Use as much as you can to support your work and grow ahead. So I think for women's also, and of course, see, data leads have been doing a lot of capacity building work for a decade now in different zones. It was health, information ecosystem, in media, in health, in other sectors, digital, cyber security, digital safety. And throughout, I've felt this. When it comes to women, we are not investing enough on upskilling. Of course, we're all overworked, we are multitasking, but you would rarely find women making efforts to upskill themselves. That's where I think, and that's where data leads, and we try to keep doing it through various programs, that you make the right investment in upskilling women, because they are the one who are right there they're the foundation of each community, each setup, so each organization. So I think it's very important to make that investment, to make that factor very visible on investing upskilling for women. So that's what we're trying to do at Data Leads. So yeah, that's all from mine.
also need to be told what not to be done with this tool, which is right there at our hands and which looks convenient and easy to utilize. So that is also a very important pillar, I would say, when we get to utilizing AI and telling our teams and organizations and everyone. And usually the organizations which are agile enough, like for example, in the organization where I am, it's a Canada-based organization. They are technologically ahead and they are very positive about AI and they want to have it everywhere. And unfortunately, yes, it has also resulted in a lot of layoffs. So 2 years ago when I joined the team, our team was approximately, the marketing team was close to 80 people. Currently, we are only operating at 30. So there is a cut down, there is a layoff, yes. And it has made our job. See, they're giving us content, but like Aditya was mentioning, that it doesn't give you unique, nice content which makes you think, oh, let's read it once more. It's really not that. None of the even Claude does amazing writing, but then it is not that kind of content. It will probably give you a writing email, to this person, but it will not give you the customization, the personalization, and the touch point which actually a human being would create out of. So that's what I would like to say. And
Swati would be short one. Brilliant thoughts is what I'll say. I mean, by and large, everything has got covered. I mean, in fact, we'll start talking about this. I would like to congratulate Parul on what I loved listening to her. I don't know if she's around or not. And everybody who said whatever, I mean, it meant a lot. Yes, are you guys able to hear us, Deepika? Okay, yeah, fantastic. So to put a summary from my side and not wasting too much time for everyone, I would say that women, if we understand, I mean, come from a psychological aspect, and when you do human research and science about it, they are perfectionists, right? They want to be perfect at something and then deliver. That's not really a fault of them, but then that is how they've been built up. And you would have heard something like, you teach a man, that individual is prepared, but if you teach a woman, the whole family is prepared, right? So this is the power, and this is the wonderful land that you guys are really putting up with. So, the only problem that I have seen in the last 24 years of my career is that women especially come with this thought of self-doubt, which is dressed up in a scenario which is saying, no, technically I'm not there. Arey why? I mean, it's not really like that. Also, what I've seen is by taking those small baby steps, it is absolutely conquerable. It is very, very easy. It is very doable, but then you have to start something. So I think even when you're doing training the trainers, I would request you, all of you, to just tell them, give them that small nudge, because we women can really give that nudge to the other women by saying this is not our plan. So no big deal. This is absolutely doable. Just go for it. And to conclude, I would really tell you a very actual scenario which happened like 3 days ago with me in one of the room full of discussions and brainstormings, where we were talking about some tool implementation, and it's just happened like last week, and which is what is like up in my head. So what was happening is that we were discussing about a tool in the room. If I remember correctly, there were 8 individuals, all the CSO members. 6 of them are male members and 2 of them are women. And we're talking about this, and people kept saying, yeah, wonderful tool, let's go for it, let's do this is doing this as well, this is doing that as well. Interesting enough, when I observed those 2 women, what they were doing is they were scribbling, they were listening, they were nodding, they were smiling. And they did not really say anything against the tool in that room. The moment we walked out and we went over coffee, I was amazed by some of the observations that these 2 women HR managers had. They came up with a kind of understanding about the tool to say that, did you observe, Swati, that the output that they were driving had no women in it? Also, did you see that the candidates with career break were missing from there? Also, could you realize that there were 2 individuals whose name was there and the geography was different, and so on and so forth. But my point is that why were you not sharing that with that room? Because before we could take the decision, because all the important points were discussed, were acknowledged, but they were not spoken. So That's it. I mean, we have to start taking baby steps. We have to also start sharing our point. I think that's extremely important. The day we realize that women have an understanding, that for sure they are way above. I mean, I never tell people in any forum that talk about equality. I mean, what equality, we are way ahead of us. So, I don't really want to talk about equality, but then yes, we have to give that nudge to our people, our women, our co-workers, our colleagues, to say that please speak up, because all your points, 90% of them are very valid. Like, look at this room full of individuals, so like BD, marketing, educator, doctor, scientist, everything, right? So I think that's important. Just that baby step and nothing else.
What nudge would you give, Deepika?
I'll just add to the little point what she said was just been going on in my mind for some time. So she said we don't speak in boardrooms when we are hesitant. I'm saying speak as much in the boardrooms, but start speaking in your societies, in your families. Take it out. We need to take all these conversations out and not restrict among ourselves on this. Let's take these conversations to wherever we can. Not wait for formal classrooms.
Very true. I'll just add to this. So I was my society's AOA member last year. And not that I contributed, I did contribute in many other ways, but one major contribution that I did was teach my supervisor how to use ChatGPT and thought. And he's coming back to me again and again. जब भी वो दिखता है, अरे मैम मैंने ये किया, मैंने आज ये नया किया, ये गलत था, ये सही था. So that's how you are recognized.
And I think that's the baby step, like a supporter you did to that.
Yes. So maybe I was not able to contribute much like the president or the associate secretary or registrar or any main fellow, but you have to come out of your shell. You have to break out, you have to take those risks because others will not let you take that risk. So Deepika, would you want to add something to this? So this is
Yes. So in my space, I feel apart from the finer aspects, because women are, the oxygen of culture. Women make spaces comfortable. Women generate conversations. And you cannot take culture away from women. If you remove women, you remove culture. So when it comes to my space, cultural marketing or creative marketing, experiential marketing, I feel women do domain the finer aspects. I do, but they're also moving into, away from pigeonholed servicing roles to more creative vision led roles as well. So when you integrate AI, and here I say women should learn AI because they need to be at the leading arc of it. If they don't, they won't understand. And now AI has become part of our culture, accept it or not. And so in terms of business development, businesses or brands, respect or look forward to people or creative directors or agencies that understand AI. And when in any marketing space, in any event or any other touch point, when the consumer is engaged with AI, they look forward to that particular brand, making it aspirational in nature. So that is one gimmicky part of it. However, when you talk about ethics and all, so recently Dove Real Beauty campaign came out. They have released a research report and a playbook, basically giving prompts to us. I know it's a public in public domain. It's on their website. Proper prompts that can make generative AI create inclusive imagery of authentic women. So when you say it's, so in the beginning of their video they say just ask AI, generative AI, to create an imagery of a confident and beautiful woman, very stereotypical blonde hair, perfect figure woman, so-called perfect. And then if you add a prompt called as per real beauty Dove, the image changes. So they're asking us to, because the repository or the machine, the data that the machine learning is happening with, the generative AI, that data is already very, not in place. It's not authentic. For years and years, the internet has, nurtured a repository of inauthentic women imagery, and that is something that that particular brand is talking about, how we can change that. So that's sort of a brand activism move, little bit, and that's the nice, it's brand purpose essentially in marketing.
Right, Deepika. So, Dr. Kuldeep, you are also from the same space and you're working around it and education, of course. So, what would be your concluding message to the women of today and tomorrow? How should we operate? How should we come forward?
To begin with, this whole idea of, that women, that there's a lot of mansplaining, related to how technology is to be used, how technology is to be appropriated, how technology is to be accepted, has been a long drawn conversation for all these years. However, in a technology integrated environment where women are celebrating their relationship with technology, with the right amount of skepticism, with the right dose of probity. Here we have to engage. I totally agree with Doxa when she said, at the end of the day, I'm scared for my juniors. If they do not engage with books, and that does not create to lead to their own idea. The idea is how do I think what I think, and what do I really think? What do I believe in? What are my value systems? How do I engage with, how do I perceive objects, images, people, places, positionalities, geopolitical conflicts? How do I look at the world around me? What is my worldview? If that goes out of the window and there is a process of cognitive borrowing, which is being done by AI-led technologies because of convenience and speed, it remains a questionable practice for future. However, within the space of integration and criticality, if we continuously engage with each other, number one, like for instance, when Pamposh was talking about, that's very, very important to put collaborations into practice. So the idea of solidarity when people are working in AI, whether they're working in marketing communications, whether they're working in social responsibility, in legal frameworks, policy, business, teaching, research, wherever, it is very important that we come together and collaborate in terms of whether we can come together for capacity building of others, or whether we come together for ensuring that these models are better learned by giving them that empirical insight. The shared and lived experiences need to be fed into these trained models so that they reorient themselves in terms of lenses, in terms of positions, in terms of their skewed perceptions about the world, right? That's one. Another most important thing is, in a world driven by speed, when Rushati was talking about, she was talking about how beautiful it is, at the click of a button, everything is available. And that is so enticing. That is so enticing for a young student. Kulveet Rehan may have given them a dissertation to work on, do a factor analysis of virtual influencers, and they can do it at a drop of a hat. How lovely. However, if you inculcate a value of that human oversight, that human centricism, not technocentricism, that human is still the core in this technology oriented environment, if you make it profitable, if you incentivize it. Now, incentives may be, more tangible or intangible, right? If you make the idea of ethical AI, trust based AI, of responsive and responsible AI, of transparent AI, of accountable use of AI, profitable to the young, then they like it. The idea is about, see, at one point, 15 years back, when we were all working towards social advocacy, corporate social responsibility, and my friends in journalism were very skeptical. They said, at the end of the day, you're businesses, You may talk about social responsibility, but you're businesses. But the minute you make social responsibility a profitable idea, you will do a greater common good. So for the greater common good, you have to make technology synthesis shift a bit, shift its core, shift its prototype, and then you will have this idea of ethical AI, a lived reality.
So true, Gurveer. So coming to Deepti, Parul, and Kamposh, my question would be about technology cannot be drawn away from information and integrity. They're all working together. And how do we build a responsible? We're talking about responsible AI future. How do we build that? We're all working in our own spaces. Parul is working on upskilling and capacity building. Kamposh is working around misinformation and disinformation. DP is working around data and privacy. So, what would be your message to our audience, to, us basically, about the future of responsible AI? How do you build that? Parul can go ahead or Pankaj has the mutual assist, Pankaj can go ahead.
Sure, happy to start. I think, Devika, the most important thing is that, all of us sitting in this room, we are informed group and we understand what responsible AI really means. So I think the first step is to break it down into very simpler terms, that what does the general public or a layperson understand when we talk about responsible AI? You know, this notion of responsible AI can vary between people. What is responsible AI for you may not be responsible AI for me. So is there unison in this definition, first off? Secondly, when we undertake media literacy trainings, especially AI literacy trainings, now that we are into that space, I think this idea has to be underscored a lot more than before. It has to be broken down in into language that the audience understands. If you're training a group in a tier two city, like Parul was mentioning a lot of the work that they do, tier two cities, tier three cities. So how do you make them understand what responsible AI is? For all of us who are city bred, I can bet that not a lot of people using your LLMs understand what is responsible AI. It's still a concept which is very alien to people. So I think the first step is in trying to create definitions that are easy for people to understand and easy for people to discern. Because tied to responsible AI is the whole notion that goes back to guardrails also. Right now, you don't have guardrails in a lot of these LLMs. And you talk about parental control, etc., etc. Your kid might come to you and say that we are being encouraged to use something like Kulveen was saying, that students are using a lot of LLMs for their assignments. So there, where are we in terms of responsible AI? If I am letting a younger person under my supervision use AI for everything, I think that is also a layer that we need to take into consideration. Number two, what use am I putting AI to? I think it's not only about the pernicious or the innocuous use of AI. It's also about other factors, other societal factors need to be taken into consideration. Critical thinking aspect needs to be taken into consideration. So I think you have to cater to your audience according to who you are speaking to. You meet them where they are.
Right.
In the interest of time, I'm going to leave it at that unless you have a follow-up question, Devika.
No, I think we're already running out of time, and I mean, we have mothers here whose kids are in some daycare. So, quickly, Parul, to you, the same thing. How do we build responsible AI future? How do we bring women in it? How do we keep that notion alive? That okay, yes, we need to talk about it openly and encourage every woman to be a part of it.
Sorry, is that a question for me?
Angie, yes, it's for you.
So, kindly repeat the question, please.
Okay, it's a quick summary that the session that we had today, the discussion that we had today. What do you think should be done to bring more women into this practice of responsible AI, the integrity part, the information ecosystem that we talked about? How do we do the right thing? You are into capacity building. How do we do it rightly? What should we do about it in the future?
I think for me, I would say the capacity building, Adira, the program. I think the idea is to take this to more people, to more women. And of course, the entire focus is on AI responsible. So yeah, we got to do a lot of capacity building because we're all assuming like everybody knows everything about under AI and everybody is open to using it as well. So that barrier we need to cross, we need to take it, we need that there's a lot of focus on capacity building is to be done. So we need to make that shift from, now digital literacy, it has to be now AI literacy with similar components where you do focus on responsible ethics, integrity, and of course now there's also a lot of focus on AI governance as well, so that part also we need to focus on. So yeah, just a lot of investment on upskilling women. That's the thing I would want to focus on.
Agreed, and I mean we're doing something to start with. So Deepti, very quickly with you, data privacy, AI governance, as we talked about, is required. So quick concluding message from you.
So I leave you all with few thoughts or questions.
And